Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to this live stream for Windows Server 2003. Just want to share my screen. Share. Okay, defining security options. Security options are used to configure security for the computer. Unlike user rights, which are applied to a user or group, security options apply to the computer. Windows Server 2003 features over 70 potential security options depending on how your server is configured. Unlike its predecessor, Windows 2000 Server, which lumped all of the nearly 40 options together, Windows Server 2003 organizes the security options under subcategories. Table 3.8 describes the new categories of security options. So, category description: accounts. Options that control the status of enabled, disabled, and allow you to rename the administrator and guest accounts, as well as an option to limit local account use of the blank password to local logon only. Audit. Options that control security related to auditing, including the option to shut down the system immediately if unable to log security audits. Devices. Options that control access to removable media printers, docking stations, and that control unsigned driver installation behavior. Domain controller. Options that apply specifically to security on domain controllers. Domain member. Options for digital encryption, machine account passwords, and session keys. Interactive logon. Options for logging on interactively, including whether to display the last username, whether or not to require Control plus Alt plus Delete, whether to display a custom message for users attempting to log on, and the number of previous logons to cache in the event a domain controller is not available. Microsoft Network Client. Options to configure digitally signed communications and unencrypted passwords. Microsoft Network Server. Options to configure digitally signed communications, session idle time, and whether to disconnect clients when logon hours expire. Network access. Options to configure 10 anonymous network access settings. Network security. Options to configure network security at a granular level. Recovery console. Options to configure behavior of the recovery console, including floppy access and automatic administrative login. Shutdown. Options to allow system shutdown without requiring log on and or to clean the virtual memory page file on shutdown. System cryptography. Options related to encryption, hashing, and signing. System objects. Options to configure the behavior of system objects, including whether to require case sensitivity for non-Windows systems. System settings. Options to configure additional settings. It is unlikely that you will need to change them. So, exercise 3.6, you will define some security options and see how they work. For this exercise, it is assumed that you have completed all the previous exercises in this chapter. So, defining security options. 1. Select Start Administrative Tools, Security, and expand the local computer policy. Snap in. 2. Expand folders as follows: computer configuration, Windows settings, security settings, local policies, security options. 3. Open the policy interactive login message text for users attempting to log in the local policy setting field. Type welcome to all authorized users. Click the OK button. 4. Open the policy interactive logon. Prompt user to change password before expiration in the local policy policy setting field. Specify 3 days. Click the OK button. 5. Select Start command prompt at the command prompt type GP update and press enter. 6. At the command prompt type exit and press enter. 7. Log off as administrator and log on as another user. 8. Log off and log on as administrator. Using public keys. Using public keys policies allows you to set options so that computers can automatically submit requests to certificate authorities in order to install and access public keys which are associated with cryptography. You can also specify the data recovery agents that are used in conjunction with encrypting file system ESF. Administering the local computer's system policies. System policies are accessed from the local computer policy MMC snap-in under computer configuration administrative templates system. You are likely to configure the following policy settings through system policies: user profile policies, login policies, disk quote policies, group policies, Windows file protection policies. To edit a policy, double-click the policy name. For the most part, you will have only 2 options, enabled or disabled. In a few cases, you must specify a single numeric value, such as in the timeout for dialog boxes policy, but configuring policies is never more complicated than that. Each of these is discussed in more detail in the following section. User profiles policies. In Windows 2000 Server, user profile policy settings were grouped with the log-on policy settings. Windows Server 2003 separates them under a new category, user profiles. For a cleaner administrative interface, Table 3.9 describes the most commonly configured options available. Delete cached copies of roaming profiles specifies that a local copy of the roaming profile should not be saved to the local computer. Normally, you want to save a local copy of a roaming profile because the loading a copy locally is faster than loading from a network drive. Do not detect slow connections. By default, the system will try to detect slow links and respond to slow links differently than it does to faster links. Setting this policy disables the detection of slow links. Slow network connection timeout for user profiles allows you to specify what a slow network connection is. Wait for remote user profile specifies that if a roaming profile is used, the roaming network copy of the profile should be used rather than a locally cached copy of the profile. Prompt user when slow link is detected. Notifies the user when notifies users of a slow link and prompts them to select whether they will use a locally cached copy of a user profile or the roaming network copy. Timeout for dialog boxes allows you to configure the default timeout value that will be used to display dialog boxes. Log users off when roaming profiles fails. Specifies that if a roaming profile is not available, the user should be logged off. If you do not enable this option, a roaming profile fails to load. The user will use a locally cached copy or the default user profile. Maximum retries to unload and update user profile determines the number of retries the system will take if it tries to update the portions of the registry that store user profile information and the update is not successful. User policies are used to specify how log-on events such as logon scripts and access of user profiles are configured. The logon policy options are described in Table 3.10. Run logon scripts synchronously specifies that the logon scripts should finish running before the Windows Explorer interface is run. Configuring this option can cause a delay in the appearance of the desktop. Run startup scripts asynchronously allows the system to run startup scripts asynchronously, that is simultaneously Otherwise, if you have multiple startup scripts, a startup script can't run until the previous script has finished running. Run startup scripts visible displays the startup script instructions as they are run. Run shutdown scripts visible displays the shutdown script instructions as they run. Maximum wait time for group policy scripts specifies the maximum amount of time that the system will wait for scripts, logon, startup, and shutdown to be applied before scripts stop processing and an error is recorded. This value is 600 seconds, 10 minutes by default. Disk quotas. Disk quota policies are used to specify how the computer will be used for disk quota configuration. The disk quota policy options are described in Table 3.11. Enable disk quotas forces the system to enable disk quota management and all NTS volumes for the computer. Enforce disk quota limit specifies that if disk quotas are configured, they should be enforced. Default quota limit and warning level allows you to configure the default quota limit for quota management and the disk use threshold at which users see a warning message. Log an event when quota limit exceeded specifies that if users reach their quota limit, an entry will be added to the event viewer application log. Log event when quota warning level exceeded specifies that if users reach their warning limit, an entry will be added to the event viewer application log. Apply policy to removable media extends the disk quota policies that are applied to fixed disks to removable media that are formatted as NTFS. Group policies. Group policies are used to specify how group policies will be applied to the computer. The group policy options that are commonly configured are described in Table 3.12. Turn off background refresh of group policy prevents group policies from being updated if the computer is currently in use. Apply group policy for users asynchronously during startup specifies that the computer can display the Windows desktop before it finishes updating the computer's group policy. Group policy refresh interval for computers specifies the interval rate that will be used to update the computer's group policy. By default, this background operation occurs every 90 minutes with a random offset of 0.30 minutes. Group policy refresh individual for domain controllers specifies the interval rate that will be used to update the domain controller's group policy. By default, this background operation occurs every 5 minutes. Using group policy loopback processing mode specifies how group policies are applied when a user logs onto a computer with this option configured. You can specify that the group policy is replaced or merged with other policy settings. Group policy slow link detection defines what a slow link is for the purpose of applying and updating group policies. Registry policy processing specifies, now we're after losing where we are. Okay, so we'll just go from here. Group policy. Okay, so registry policy processing specifies how registry policies are processed, such as whether registry policies can be applied during periodic background processing. Internet Explorer maintenance policy processing determines when Internet Explorer maintenance policies can be applied. Software installation policy processing determines how often software installation policies are updated. This option does not apply to local policies. Folder redirection policy processing specifies how folder redirection policies are updated. Script policy processing specifies how shared script policies are updated. Security policy processing specifies how security policies are updated. IP security policy processing specifies how IP security policies are updated. EFS recovery policy processing specifies how encryption policies are updated. Disk quota policy processing specifies how disk quota policies are updated. Windows file protection policies. The Windows file protection policies are used to specify how Windows file protection will be configured. The Windows file protection policy options are described in table 3.11, or sorry, 3.13, I mean. Windows file protection policy description. Set Windows file protection scanning determines the frequency of Windows file protection scans. Hide the file scan protection window, suppresses the display of the file scan progress window, limit Windows file protection cache size, specifies the maximum amount of disk space that can be used by Windows file protection, specify Windows file protection cache location, specifies an alternate location to be used by the Windows file protection cache, analyzing security configurations with security configuration and analysis tool. Windows Server 2003 includes a utility called security configuration and analysis, which you can use to analyze and help configure the computer's local security settings. This utility works by comparing your actual security configuration to a security template configured with your desired settings. The following steps are involved in the security analyst process. 1. Using the security configuration and analysis utility, specify a working security database that will be used during the security analysis. 2. Import a security template that can be used as a basis for how you would like your security to be configured. 3. Perform the security analysis. This will compare your configuration against the template that you specified in step 2. 4. Review the results of the security analysis. 5. Resolve any discrepancies indicated through the security analysis results. The security configuration and analysis utility is an MMC snap-in. After you add this utility to the MMC, you can use it to run the security analysis process as described in the following sections. Specifying a security database. The security database is used to store the results of your security analysis. To specify a security database, take the following steps. 1. In the MMC, right-click the Security Configuration and Analysis snap-in and select the Open Database option from the pop-up menu. If you select the Security Configuration and Analysis snap-in in the MMC, the contents of the right pane explain how to open an existing database and how to create a new one, as shown in Figure 3.2. 2. The Open Database dialog box appears in the File menu text box. Type the name of the database you will create. By default, this file will have a .db, I think, for security database extension. Then click OK. Then click OK, the Open button. 3. The import dialog box appears. Select the template that you want to import. You can select the predefined template through this dialog box. In the next section, you will learn how to create and use a customized template file. Make your selection and click the open button. Importing a security template. The next step in the security and analysis process is to import a security template. The security template is used as a comparative tool. The security and configuration analysis utility compares the security settings in the security template to your current security settings. You do not set security through the security template. Rather, the security template is where you organize all of your security attributes in a single location. So creating a security template. By default, Windows Server 2003 ships with a variety of predefined security templates, which are stored in system root /security/templates. Each of the templates defines a standard set of security values based on the requirements of your environment. The template groups that are included by default are defined in table 3.14. So default security, set up security.inf, created during installation for each computer, used to set security back to the default values as configured during installation, with the exception of user rights. User rights are modified by some applications so that the applications will run properly if the user rights were also set back to default values. Some of the applications that were installed on the computer might not function. Set up security compatible, used for backward compatibility. This option relaxes the default security used by Windows 2000 and higher so that applications that ran under Windows NT are not certified for Windows 2000 and higher will still run. This template is typically used on computers that have been upgraded and are then having problems running application. Compa TWS, secure.inf implements recommended security settings for Windows 2000 and higher in all security areas except for files, folders, registry keys. Secure DC, secure WS, highly secure, defines highly secure network communications for Windows Server 2003 computers. If you applied this security template, Windows Server 2003 computers can communicate only with other Windows Server 2003 computers. In this case, the computers would not communicate with clients such as Windows 95, 98, or even Windows NT4 computers. Dedicated domain controller DC.inf provides a higher level of security for dedicated domain controllers. This option assumes that the domain controller will not run server-based applications, which would require a more lax security posture on the server. DC security system root security rootsec.inf defines the root permissions. By default, these permissions are defined for the root of the system drive, can be used to reapply root directory permissions if they are inadvertently changed, or the template can be modified to apply the same root permissions to other volumes. This template propagates only the permissions that are inherited by child objects and does not override permissions explicitly defined on child objects rootsec. So account policies, specifies configuration that should be used for password policies, account lockout policies, and Kerberos policies, local policies. Specifies configurations that should be used for auto policies, user rights assignment, and security options. Event log allows you to set configuration settings that apply to event viewer log files, restricted groups. Allows you to administer local group memberships, registries, specifies security for local registry keys, file system, specifies security for the local file system, system services, sets security for system services and the startup mode that local system services will use. So after you add the security template snapping to the MMC, you can open a sample security template and modify it as follows. 1. In the MMC, expand the security templates snap-in and then expand the folder for system root security templates. Double click the sample template that you want to edit. There are several sample templates, including secure WS for secure Windows Server and secure DC for secure domain controller. 3. Make any changes you want to the sample security template. Changes to the template are not applied to the local system by default. They are simply a specification for how you would like the system to be configured. 4. Once you have made all of the changes to the sample template, save the template by highlighting the sample template file name, right-clicking and selecting the Save As option from the pop-up menu. Specify a location and a file name for the new template. By default, the security template will be saved with an .inf extension in the /system root /security /templates folder. Opening a security template. Once you have configured a security template, you can import it for use with the security configuration and analysis utility. Assuming that a security database has already been configured, to import a security template in the MMC, right-click the security configuration and analysis utility and select the import template option from the pop-up menu. Then highlight the name of the template file you wish to import and click the open button. Performing a security analysis. The next step is to perform a security analysis. To run the analysis, simply right-click the security configuration and analysis utility and select the Analyze Computer Now option from the pop-up menu. You will see a Perform Analysis dialog box that allows you to specify the location and file name for the error log file that will be created during the analysis. After this information is configured, click the OK button. When the analysis is complete, you will be returned to the main MMC window. From there, you can review the results of the security discrepancies, reviewing the security analysis and resolving discrepancies. The results of the security analysis are stored in the security configuration and analysis snap-in under the security item you've configured. See table 315. For example, to see the results for password policies, double-click the security configuration and analysis snap-in. Double-click account policies and then double-click password policy. Figure 3.3 shows an example of security analysis results for password policies. The policies that have been analyzed will have an X or a check mark next to them as shown in figure 3.3. An X indicates that the template specification and the actual policy do not match. A check mark indicates that the template specification and the policy do match. If any security discrepancies are indicated, you should use the group policy snap-in to resolve the their security violation. So you can see here viewing the results of a security analysis. So in exercise 3.7, you will use the security configuration and analysis utility to analyze your security configuration. In this exercise, you will add the security and configuration analysis snap into the MMC, specify a security database, create a security template, import the template, perform an analysis, and review the results from. For this exercise, it is assumed that you completed all the previous exercises in this chapter using the security configuration and analysis tool. 1. Select Start Administrative Tools, Security. 2. Select File, Add Remove Snap-in. 3. In the Add Remove Snap-in dialog box, click the Add button, highlight the security configuration and analysis snap-in and click the Add button. Then click the Close button. 4. In the Add Remove Snap-in dialog box, click the OK button, specifying the security database. 5. In the MMC, right-click Security Configuration and Analysis and select Open Database. 6. In the Open Database dialog box, type sample DB in the file name text box, then click the Open button. 7. In the Import Template dialog box, select the template Secure WS and click the Open button, creating the security template. 8. In the MMC, select File, Add Remove Snap-in. 9. In the Add Remove Snap-in dialog box, click the Add button, highlight the security template snap-in and click the Add button, then click the Close button. 10. In the Add Remove Snap-in dialog box, click the OK button. 11. Expand the security templates snap-in and then expand the /system root /security /templates folder. 12. Double click the secure WS file. 13. Select account policies and then password policy. 14. Edit the password policies as follows. Set the enforce password history option to 10 passwords remembered. Enable the passwords must meet complexity requirements option. Set the maximum password age to 30 days. 15. Highlight the secure WS file name, right click and select the Save As option. 16. In the Save As dialog box, place the file in the default folder and name the file Server Test. Click the Save button. Importing the security template, highlight the security configuration and analysis snap-in, right click and select the Import Template option. 18. In the Import Template dialog box, highlight the Server Test file name and click the Open button, performing and reviewing the security analysis. 19. Highlight the security configuration and analysis snap-in, right click and select the Analyze Computer Now option. 20. In the Perform Analysis dialog box, accept the default error log file path and click the OK button. When you return to the main MMC window, double click the Security Configuration and Analysis snap-in. 22. Double click Account Policies and then double click Password Policy. You will see the results of the analysis for each policy indicated by an X or a check mark next to the policy. So I'm going to leave it here today for this live stream. Thank you for spending the evening with me and have a good week.